But first, politicians can get away with wasting billions, can't they, on failed projects and misdirected programs, but heaven help any of them who waste your money on themselves. Tens of thousands of dollars on seats at the pointy end of the plane, chauffeur-driven cars, luxury hotels. Any wonder Albanese Government Minister Arnica Wells is under siege as more and more emerges of what looks like unrestrained indulgence at your expense. First, it was that trip to New York to give a brief speech, 6 minutes only, at the United Nations that barely anyone noticed, and it could have been given by the Prime Minister or the Foreign Minister, who were also there at the time. That 6-minute speech in New York cost taxpayers $98,000 in flights for her and 2 of her staff, as well as $12,000 in hotel costs. Now, let me tell you, you can't spend that much on flights to New York unless you fly first class. Or, as I think happened, she booked a one-way fare both ways instead of a full return. And I think that's what happened, that Wells had originally planned on travelling with the Prime Minister on his VIP jet on the way over and then flying commercially home. But stupidly, when her plans changed, instead of cancelling the one-way ticket and then booking a much cheaper return one, her office just bought another one-way leg. So 2 one-way legs, and that comes at a massive cost. Now, that's dumb and it's lazy. And what about the minister travelling overseas with 2 of her staff? Well, I reckon that's madness too. Something I know my former boss, Tony Abbott, would never have approved. It was always a rule, 1 minister, 1 staff, that's it. This Prime Minister did. He approved that. Because for all the attention around Arnica Wells' big spending habits, let me tell you how the system works. Because every bit of her spending is approved personally by the Prime Minister. It first happens when the folders come up to the Prime Minister's office. There's a whole batch of them that come up. They're called the in principle draft travel bids. The Prime Minister and his Chief of Staff and others, they go through those folders and they cross out what they will not be approving, and they put ticks against stuff that can be then taken further, that can be progressed into firmer plans. Then what happens much closer to the departure date, a brief comes up from the department per ministerial travel that's coming out of those folders, and in there you get the final airfare costs, you get the final hotel charges, and you get the application for the number of staff on the trip. So yes, well-deserved criticism for Wells. Believe me, Albanese also deserves to cop it because he signed every bit of this off. But it gets worse, because as always with this stuff, as soon as the media starts to dig, it finds out more, doesn't it? Over the weekend, it emerged that Arnica Wells had made 3 taxpayer-funded trips to Paris in a single year, plus spent over $1,000 of your money on a fancy dinner for herself and 2 others. But it gets worse again, because we now know that not only was Wells enjoying all of these high-end trips paid for by you, but also her family as well. It emerged that she went to Thredbo for the Paralympics Australia event, and well, she put it on taxpayers to send her family as well for what amounted to a ski holiday with her children.
Separate to that, every parliamentarian has family reunion entitlements, which I followed.
Did your family go skiing? They did, right?
Yes, they did.
Jeez Louise, Thredbo in high season, that's thousands and thousands of dollars. But there's more. She also billed taxpayers almost $9,000 so her husband could attend 3 AFL Grand Finals, plus taking her 3 children to one of them. She then went to the Formula One Grand Prix. That's it. You've got it. Hubby was there as well, paid for by taxpayers. And today, Arnica Wells is also under siege and she's hiding out in her office, but she was asked about it yesterday, and her defence yesterday was, sorry, but it's all within the rules.
At the end of the day, I don't write these rules.
They might pass the guideline test, but you must see that they don't pass the pub test.
Andrew, you and your viewers can absolutely have an opinion about the rules.
Now, come on, there's no rule that says the Sports Minister must take her husband or children to every event she goes to. There's no rule either that she needs to go to every sporting event the Commonwealth might have some role in. I mean, she's going to ones that there is no Commonwealth role. She charged taxpayers to go to Flemington. That's right, a day out at the races. And the thoroughbred races, well, they've got nothing to do with the federal government. That there she is, all dolled up, costing you thousands. Now, when asked about this, the Prime Minister gave his typical dismissive response.
You or your office would have had to approve that, is that right? Did you?
Of course.
So you did approve this?
Of course.
You thought 34 grand for a flight was okay?
Well, we spoke. I didn't get all the receipts, David.
I didn't get all the receipts. Mate, I know how it works. You got a very, very good estimate in a legal brief from your department. Don't fob it around there with David Spears. This goes to the character of the government, the character of the Prime Minister, the character of this minister. And since when did serving the public involve living it up at the public's expense? Second to the whole arrogance of this government with its 93-seat majority that thinks it can do no wrong. Now, I know that Anthony Albanese prides himself on not losing a minister. But when this extends to justifying the unjustifiable, whether it's refusing to have ministers apologise for weaponising a lie, the whole Brittany Higgins saga, refusing to admit that the government is actually bringing back these ISIS brides when they told us they would not, or refusing to have ministers repay any of these over-the-top expenses, voters will start to think the Prime Minister himself is the one with the character flaw. Now, sure, compared to the billions they waste on projects like Snowy 2.0, these tens of thousands of dollars wasted in dubious travel claims, small beer. But it's hard to be frugal in the big things if you're extravagant in the small ones. And look, it's a shocking look right at the moment anyway for politicians like Wells, who I might add earns around $400,000 a year in salary, to be wasting your money like this at the same time as today we've got the Treasurer confirming that power bill rebates will not be extended when they run out at Christmas time.
I understand why people are concerned about it, but at the end of the day, these are within the rules.
People are concerned about it.
Last one.
Are you concerned about it, Treasurer?
I've answered your question.
Does it concern you, Treasurer?
I've answered your question, Ken.
Is it fair for taxpayers to be paying for business class flights as part of the family reunion allowance when households are making difficult decisions about electricity bills, school fees, and it's an expensive time of year?
Yeah, thanks very much. I refer you to the same answer I gave to Cam a moment ago. Thanks very much.
As taxpayers, we work really, really hard to earn every dollar that the government takes from us in tax. The least we deserve is that they spend it wisely. And how about Wells putting her own hand into her own pocket if she wants to hobnob it around? As I said, she earns really good money. If she wants a day out at the races, good luck to her, or a seat at the tennis. How about you pay for it like we all do?